The moment you stop reacting, everything about you changes. And most men never realize this is the exact moment women start seeing you differently. As men grow older, they often believe attraction is about trying harder, talking smoother, proving value, or showing how much they care. But here's the truth nobody says out loud. The more emotionally reactive you are, the less powerful you appear. And this is where Stoicism quietly becomes a weapon that few men understand. Stoicism is not about being cold or emotionless. It's about mastering your inner world so completely that nothing outside of you can control your behavior. And what she's really doing when she tests you, ignores you, delays her replies, or creates small emotional dramas is trying to see if you are ruled by your emotions or in control of them. Most men fail this test without even knowing they're being tested. When she pulls away slightly, he chases. When she becomes distant, he over-explains. When she acts moody, he tries to fix it. And without realizing it, he communicates something very unattractive: emotional dependency. But here's where it gets interesting. Women are emotionally intuitive. They don't respond to what you say. They respond to what you radiate. And a man who radiates emotional stability, calmness, and quiet control triggers something deep in female psychology, safety mixed with mystery. Few men understand this, but the less you react, the more she thinks about you. Stoicism teaches you to pause before reacting, to observe instead of immediately responding, to stay centered when situations try to pull you off balance. And this changes everything in modern dating, because modern attraction is not built on impressing, it's built on intrigue. When she says something slightly provocative and you don't flinch, her mind starts asking questions. When she delays her reply and you don't double text, she feels the shift. When she tries to create emotional waves and you remain still like deep water, she senses strength. And strength to a woman is deeply attractive. The truth nobody says out loud is that many women are used to controlling the emotional temperature of interactions. They are used to men reacting. They are used to men seeking approval. So when she meets a man who is emotionally self-contained, she cannot read him easily. And what she cannot read, she becomes curious about. This is why older men who practice Stoicism often become more attractive. Without trying, they don't chase attention. They don't argue to win. They don't panic when things don't go their way. They simply remain composed, and composure is rare. Most men never realize how much they talk themselves out of attraction. They overtext, over-explain, overshare, overreact. Stoicism removes all of this noise. It teaches you that your peace is more valuable than any temporary emotional reaction. When she cancels plans last minute and you calmly say, "No problem," and go on with your day, you send a powerful message. Your life does not revolve around her. And what she's really doing is noticing that she cannot disturb your emotional balance. That unsettles her in a good way, because now she has to work to understand you. But here's where it gets even more powerful. Stoicism changes not only how she sees you, but how you see her. You stop placing women on a pedestal. You stop fearing loss. You stop trying to control outcomes. And this mindset shift is everything. The moment you genuinely accept that you will be fine whether she stays or leaves, you become incredibly attractive. Why? Because neediness disappears. Pressure disappears. You become relaxed, natural, confident without effort. This is the power older men have that younger men rarely understand. They've lived enough life to know that emotional storms pass. They've seen enough situations to know that reactions rarely solve anything. So they become slower to anger, slower to jealousy, slower to panic. And women feel this maturity immediately. It feels grounding. It feels masculine. It feels safe. Few men understand this, but women test emotional strength, not words. She might disagree with you slightly just to see how you handle it. She might tease you to see if you get defensive. She might act distant to see if you lose your composure. And what she's really doing is scanning for emotional stability. A stoic man passes these tests without even trying because he doesn't see them as tests. He simply remains himself, calm, observant, unshaken. And this changes the entire dynamic. Instead of you trying to win her approval, she starts trying to win your attention. Instead of you wondering how she feels, she starts wondering what you're thinking. Instead of you fearing silence, she begins to fill it. But here's the twist most men never realize. Stoicism also protects you from emotional manipulation. When you don't react instantly, you give yourself time to think. When you don't take things personally, you see situations clearly. When you don't chase emotional highs, you avoid emotional traps. This clarity makes you more decisive, more confident, more attractive. Because confidence is not loud, it is calm. And women are drawn to calm men in a chaotic world. The truth nobody says out loud is that attraction often grows in silence, in the pauses, in the space where you don't rush to fill gaps with words or emotions. When you become comfortable with silence, she becomes slightly uncomfortable with it. And that discomfort turns into intrigue. What is he thinking? Why isn't he reacting? Why is he so composed? And just like that, you become unforgettable without trying. Most men believe they need to say the right things. Stoicism teaches you that being the right way matters far more. Your energy, your pace, your stillness, your restraint, these speak louder than any clever line. And as you get older, this becomes your advantage. You are not trying to impress. You are simply present, grounded, and emotionally self-sufficient. And emotional self-sufficiency is rare. But here's the final truth. Stoicism is not something you perform for attraction. It is something you cultivate for yourself. And the attraction becomes a byproduct. When you stop trying to control people and start controlling your reactions, your entire presence shifts. You walk slower. You speak calmer. You listen more. You react less. And women notice all of it. Because most men never reach this level of inner control. They remain emotionally reactive their entire lives. But the man who learns Stoicism in his later years unlocks a quiet power that changes how the world and women respond to him. You become the man who is not easily moved. And the man who is not easily moved is the man who is deeply respected, deeply intriguing, and deeply attractive. If this opened your eyes, subscribe now because most men will never hear this truth.